look at reward as a form of discipline. Reward can be effective for short periods of time. If you are going to reward a behavior, you better make sure that you've managed the antecedents to that behavior first, otherwise you're setting the child up for failure. If you are going to reward a behavior, make sure again that it's something the child can do, and you want to have a beginning and an end. And usually a 2 to 3 week window is enough time, if the reward is going to work, for a behavior change to take place. So you might have a young child where you make up a behavior change goal chart, and it's got pictures of their brushing their teeth and putting on their coat and shoes, and they go through that for the first week and they put their little stamps on, and at the end of the week there's a celebration of some sort of reward, whatever your value system says is okay. And then the next week they have the next reward, and it's all planned out, and maybe there's even a third week. And sometimes, you know, that kind of reward system is enough time to help a child change a habit or to change the patterns in the family so that you get out of nagging and, you know, all of that, and you can just let the chart do some work. It's enough time for the positive natural consequences to take place, in other words. But as I said, it's got to have a beginning and an end, and many people get stuck with this reward business and keep their kids stuck at that level of moral development, which is, what are you going to give me for it? The level of punishment and reward in terms of moral development is basically, I'll only do something if you give me something for it. So they have this tremendous sense of entitlement. They choose a job that pays well, and they actually don't even like the work, they just want the money. And the punishment piece is, it's only wrong if I get caught. If we're using a lot of reward and punishment, it's only good if you give me something, and it's only really wrong if I get caught, and I'm going to work really hard at not getting caught, especially if you use heavy-duty punishment, and I'll get good at it, and I'll go underground. So there are isolated cases where you could reward a certain behavior. Do you reward, oh, let me go on about that further, because I'm thinking of a story of a woman who, when I was giving this piece of a lecture, she said, you know, I feel really annoyed right now, and I thought, uh-oh, I often annoy parents. She said, well, look, you know, my kid, he's in grade 7, he's been doing horribly in school, we finally got him on board. And I said, tell me more. Well, you know, the counselor and I set up a reward system. So every Friday he gets a reward if he hands in his work, and he gets all the stickers and stars and da-da-da. And I said, well, it's working for you, you know, so I don't tell parents to stop something that's working, but I just want to ask you, how are you going to get out of this? How are you going to motivate them next year? And we talked a little bit about the fact that when you use a reward, you have to keep upping the ante. And her face went kind of pale. And she said, you know what? She said, it started with a rental video. She said, tomorrow I'm about to go and buy him a Dairy Queen ice cream cake. And she said, I actually can't afford it. Yeah. And so this poor woman, and then at the same time another woman piped up, and she said, well, I've been paying my son every night to go to bed. I said, how much? And she said, well, just a dime. And I said, but what if he's tired and goes to bed early? Does he get 15 cents? Or, you know, I said, really, don't you want him to kind of go to bed because he's tired? So it can get a little bit crazy. I also have a problem with, you know, the kind of stickers, good for you, not you so much today, and you get a sticker. You know, like you're a star, and you're not. That creates a lot of competitiveness, even in the workplace. I remember years ago in my 20s working, you know, in various offices where they had this star thing, and you could see everybody's stars. And now all of a sudden, people were becoming competitive in the workplace, and it broke up this sort of sense of working together, because now they're working for these stupid stars, when before they loved their job. They liked to do their job. They liked to get involved in decision making and being a part of, just being a part of their work environment, that intrinsic experience. A lot of people quit when they came up with these stars. And then we reward kids with pizza for reading books. Are you kidding me? So what happens when we start doing this, extrinsic reward, it's no longer about the love of reading a book. It's about a crummy piece of pizza. And now they start reading at a lower level because they have to have 10 books. So they're going to read books that are really easy. It's no longer about reading. So reward is a very, be careful. It's hard to get out of it. I rewarded Jared once very spontaneously. I rewarded him for getting eye drops. I mean, he is the low sensory threshold and he gets pink eye and I've got to put that stuff in his eyes. I mean, he was just squirming all over the bed. I mean, I rewarded him with food. Jujubes, I didn't care. I mean, you do what you do to get medicine down. A spoonful of sugar, I don't care. It's whatever. There's no intrinsic experience to. But once in his younger years, 9, 10, beautiful, smooth skin, he started this thing that he was doing with his face. And you see these little sort of facial scrunchy habits that kids can get, right? And every time he did it, I would do it. I mean, it was just getting ridiculous. And so finally I said to him, Jared, listen, I'll give you $50 if you can stop doing that thing with your face. I said, after 3 weeks, if you stop doing it, I will give you $50 in a moment of desperation. And the little monkey stopped right there. He never did it again. And he got his $50. I mean, because Jared likes the money. And a few weeks later, though, he came back to me with this great big... backfired. Paying kids to do chores. What my experience is that when you pay kids to do regular household chores, they never see it as their responsibility. So we do a Skid at Life seminars where kid goes up to mom and says, okay, mom, I've done the bathroom, that was $3.75. I have cleaned up the kitchen and swept the floor, that totals up to, $6.50. And then the other kid comes into the room and mom says, so honey, what have you done? And he says, well, I don't need to do any of this. I've got my own paper route. I make my own money. And this is what I see is as soon as kids start making their own money, they stop contributing because they never really saw it as their responsibility in the first place. So I don't believe in paying kids to do regular chores. I do believe in making it possible for them to make extra money if they need extra money without being ridiculous. Okay, $50 if you clean my car. Let's see, your hourly wage is $35 an hour. It's easy to do that. I believe in meeting them halfway. And